The story starts with Laras, who calls her sister Ayu and apologizes to her because Ayu didn't like her work. Actually, Laras was a maid. She had a relationship with many boys, and she wants to quit this job. Ayu was angry with Laras, so she doesn't answer her call. Ayu is a makeup artist. Now, Laras went to meet her client. Laras is left by her friend, who is a taxi driver, at the place. And he likes the client. The client's wife and daughter still want to keep a relationship with him. The client's wife and daughter still want to keep a relationship with him. The man starts attacking the client. He starts beating Laras and takes her to the balcony and says, "If I don't get you, no one will get you." Saying this, he throws Laras down, due to which 24 fractures appear in Laras's body. Now, Laras was in the hospital and doctors tell Io that one part of Laras's brain is dead and only a miracle can save it. Doctors show Io an X-ray in which many rays are seen in Laras's brain. Seeing this, everyone was surprised that this case was out of the doctor's control. Laras's news had spread and now Laras's friend Io tells him that Laras should go to the village and show shaman, that is, witch doctor who works to drive away ghosts. Io refused because he was sure that she would be fine in a few days. But Laras dies. But suddenly Laras's body started shaking and she gets up and sits down, that is, she was alive again. On the way, the patient with Laras sees a stand. But Ayu can't see anything. Laras wakes up, which Ayu handles. Leaving this, Ayu gets ready to take Laras to shaman. And these people go to Laras' childhood home. Now Ayu meets the police officer there and asks about a shaman who could cure Laras. Then he tells her about a shaman. Now Ayu meets shaman and tells her about the accident of Laras. The village goons group also sees Laras, because the news of Laras had spread everywhere. Now, looking at an old video, she remembers Ayu Laras, where Laras says that surgery is expensive, we get a P. And both are joking. P is actually a big needle with black magic, which is put in the body to increase beauty so that the person remains young and beautiful for a long time. The needle is made of gold and precious teeth. And this thing is done like a ritual. She has to suffer for a long time because her body is made of magic. Then she gets a bad smell from a dummy whose face was broken. When she removes her broken face, she sees a rotten face. There were holes in it. And in a dummy's face, she sees Laras's face. And when Laras's friend came and saw, everything was normal. The next day, shaman comes and takes out a needle from Laras's face for the P. This hurt Laras and she tries to stop shaman, as if there is someone inside her. Laras is trying to wake shaman up, but shaman calms her down and starts leaving. While leaving, he tells her that the breath in Laras's body is not normal, and she should leave Laras thinking that she is dead. Ayu doesn't listen and shaman leaves. Ayu searches for a breath expert on the bed. When she saw this, Ayu's mobile fell down. Now when Ayu picks it up, he sees the ghost standing there. But the next moment there was no one there. Now Laras points to one side and that ghost starts scaring Ayu again. The next day we found out that shaman has died. Who had a wound on his body. The goon tells the villagers about Susuk that all this happened because of Susuk. What Laras did and her condition has become like this. Ayu tells Laras' friend to go to that expert and ask for help. With the announcement in the village, they also got to know that shaman is dead. Laras' friend tells the expert that Laras got well only when shaman prayed for her. And when he heard about Laras' condition, he got ready to help. Ayu apologizes to Laras for not picking up the call that day and then goes back to Laras. Then she sees that Laras has a problem. Ayu cleanses the wound on her stomach, in which she sees an eye. She falls and her mind is confused. Then someone came out of the closet, which Laris was able to see. And he scares Ayu. Then Laris's friend came there and everything seems normal. They brought Laris to X-Fight. He tells the Ayu people to stay away from him because there are a lot of spirits in Laris's body, and his body is colliding with them. Now the expert starts taking out the spirits of Laris. Then a lot of sparks come out of Laris's mouth. The ghost inside Laris says that he will not leave this body. The expert takes out the spirits one by one, and a lot of ghosts are seen inside Laris. But he took out the spirits, after which Laris calmed down. But the expert was shocked to know that a breath was still not able to come out, which was the breath which Laris wore earlier. And that breath is very powerful. So if the expert takes it out, Laris will not be able to tolerate it and she can die. He was telling all these things to Laris's friend. It is known that Laris's friend loves Laris, but he was never able to tell her because according to him, he is not worthy of Laris. But Laris told her sister Ayu that I think my friend will never accept me. That means both of them liked each other, but never told each other. Laris was getting better now. But villagers said bad things about Laris, that her sister is a witch and she should die. Ayu started crying after hearing this. She left from there. That goon also started saying wrong things about her mother. Which was also right. He said that your mother was also like Laris, she was very close to boys. You can ask this to the police officer. Because she and your mother were also close to each other. And you both have different fathers. After hearing this, Ayu was completely broken. Now Ayu got to know everything from the police officer. That his mother was the most beautiful in the village. And many men started loving her. And started making relations with her. But when she married a man, she gave birth to Laris. But her mother was also related to another man, who gave birth to Io. When your mother's husband came to know about this, he tried to kill your mother. So the villagers came in anger and killed that man. Your mother survived, but she was like a living corpse. Her heart was rotten like Laris's. Her mother was also wearing a Susuk. Shaman was hired to remove her Susuk. To that means you are my daughter and I am your father. Hearing this, Ayu leaves the house in sadness. There we see the ghost inside Laris. Where Laris was getting better, and she tries to come near her friend. Then Ayu comes and sees this, but Laris was lying on the bed in the same condition. Ayu thinks that Laris's friend was taking advantage of Laris. That's why she asks him to leave. When he was leaving at night, he sees the gang of goons going to Laris's house. And stops them. In the house, Ayu sees a small Laris, which takes him to his mother, which was not seen in the drawing. Then the same ghost attacks Ayu from behind. The police officer and the expert come and save him. The expert tells Ayu that Laris is dead and the ghost of the P has taken over Laris's body. He takes Ayu and the officer out and starts the ritual. There was a difference between Laris and his mother that lady shaman couldn't get all the breath out of his mother's body like Laris. That's why that lady shaman ritualized to stop his body in his mother's grave and buried him. So now Laris will have to be buried in the same grave if he is not cured. The goon instigates the villagers to get Laris and Ayu out of the village. The villagers get angry and go towards Laris's house. Here, the expert was doing a ritual to take out the last breath. But the ghost throws the expert away. Then someone comes inside the expert and Laris and the expert both start getting scared. They were making sounds like animals. Then the expert sees that Laris has recovered. Or the expert was about to take out the last breath. Then Laris eats the meat of the expert's throat. As if she is thirsty for blood, she kills the expert badly. The police then take Ayu and Laris to the graveyard. Ayu sees a cloth tied on a rock. And Ayu realizes that this is the thing that has stopped the ghost inside his mother in that grave. Now they dig his mother's grave, in which his corpse was not at all rotten. It was just like before. It was fresh. Then the ghost stands up again and attacks Ayu. Now Laris's friend saves him. But Laris kills him. Now she becomes normal and hugs Ayu. Then Ayu apologizes to her. She knew that it was the trap of that ghost, so she throws him in the grave. And the ghost leaves. It means that he was calm. Now Ayu closes the grave. She sits in the taxi of her friend and returns. And she becomes normal as if nothing happened. She was sad because she lost everyone in her life. Actually, the person who has these suckers in his body can't die peacefully until all the suckers leave his body. Now, only the person who has put these suckers in his body can remove these suckers. So, this movie clearly tells us that people can go to any extent to get beauty. And we should stay away from such suckers or anything. Because things like suckers can give us happiness for a while, but they can ruin our whole life. The story of the film ends here. Thanks for watching.